Kathleen Morgan. I'm the Executive Director of the Gualala River Watershed Council. The council was formed in 1996 in response to the Gualala River being listed as sediment impaired by the EPA. In 2001, the council worked with the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board and developed a technical document that outlined the pollutants in the watershed. And what we found was sediment and temperature were the issues to focus on in the Gualala. When the council was formed, we decided that we wanted to look at the watershed as a whole. And so we have developed 3 program elements, and those are upslope restoration, in-stream restoration, and monitoring trends within the watershed, and also monitoring the effectiveness of our restoration projects.
My name is Sean Case, and I'm the lead scientific technician for the Gualala River Watershed Council. The Gualala River Watershed is a highly erosive landscape naturally, just the geology of this area. But we found that currently about 58% of the sediment inputs into the Gualala are caused by humans. And of that 58%, about 85% of it is caused by legacy ranch and timber roads. The history of the era dates back from old growth logging that happened in the 1800s to some more extensive tractor logging that happened after World War II. The combination of all these factors, the geology, the land use practices, these legacy roads, and then the natural floods, particularly high flood years like 1955, 64, and 67, all these factors contributed to a decline in the fisheries that were really noticed in the 60s and early 70s.
The watershed is approximately 300 square miles, which is 190,000 acres, and 99% of it is privately owned. 40% of the watershed is actually in large landowner holdings, primarily industrial timber. And it was important for the Watershed Council, because we were focusing on restoration and monitoring, to collaborate with the stakeholders and the landowners within the watershed.
My name is Henry Alden. I manage Gualala Redwoods. Gualala Redwoods is a small timber company in the lower end of the Gualala River watershed. This map shows the Gualala River watershed. The green portion at the lower end of the watershed is the 30,000 acres that Gualala Redwoods owns. I'm a forester by training. I've been managing this property now for almost 16 years.
Gualala Redwoods has been a prominent partner with the Watershed Council in restoration efforts. They have upgraded, I think, close to 50% of their road network, and work very closely with the council on monitoring and doing large wood restoration. Most of our large wood in-stream restoration to this date has been done on their property, primarily because they own most of the best refugia for coho salmon in the watershed.
Soon after I got here, I joined the Gualala River Watershed Council, and over the next couple of years, the council, and particularly Kathleen Morgan and I, began working together, and the Watershed Council has taken the lead in monitoring in the watershed.
I'm Kirsten Sequoia. I'm one of 2 coordinators with the Gualala River Watershed Council. We help small and medium-sized landowners implement best management practices on their properties. Some of the ways we help landowners is by providing project planning, mapping services, and assistance with permitting for landowners who want to implement conservation projects on their properties. This work helps us to broaden our efforts as we work to improve the health in the whole watershed.
The council has been monitoring and implementing restoration projects now for close to 16 years. And we have a long-term monitoring plan. In fact, our strategic plan goes out to, a 40-year timeline. And our current monitoring plan goes out for another 10 years of collecting data. Long term, what we would like to see is we would like to see the Gualala River watershed delisted and that the habitat returned. And we're doing that on a planning watershed basis.
Most of the monitoring that the Watershed Council has done over the years is a lot of it's been focused on habitat monitoring, specifically at sediment and temperature, which once again are the major pollutants in the watershed. And we've developed with the temperature monitoring. That's basically we have remote temperature sensors that we place all over the watershed in as many tributaries over the years that we can, to basically find out if we have suitability for fish. And that kind of answers hopefully two questions. One, are there fish living there now? Is this temperature suitable for fish? And also potential habitat. Is this an area that fish could possibly move into?
The results of our monitoring led us to conclude that disconnecting or upgrading roads to reduce sediment or erosion into streams, which affect fish, and placing large wood back in the streams are the two most important things that we can do.
So the first thing we want to do is hydrologically disconnect these roads from the streams. And we do that by using protocols that were developed by Higgins and Weaver, Pacific Watersheds and Associates, and we work very closely with them on assessing the roads within the watershed and then implementing remediation.
On Gualala Redwoods property now, we've disconnected over half of the road net, which I'm told by people that see these sorts of things that Gualala Redwoods has upgraded a larger percentage of its roads to a higher standard than any other landowner on the North Coast, private, state, or federal. And we've placed huge amounts of wood, huge being about 110 log truck loads of wood.
We're definitely starting to see results, and it is really neat. This winter I was out, and there was a log structure that we would put in, and right behind it was a culvert that we had replaced on a road restoration project, and there was a steelhead red. And in one photograph, I was able to picture the steelhead nest, large woody debris structure, road restoration project right behind it. And it's really cool seeing all of that come together in one frame, really, but also in the watershed as a whole. Hopefully, we can get the whole watershed into that kind of shape at some point.
Seeing landowners become aware of opportunities to implement conservation projects is really exciting to be a part of. I like to help people feel empowered and help people understand that the smallest water conservation effort is as important as the largest in-stream wood or road restoration project that we could do. All these little efforts are helping to benefit the watershed.
One of the most exciting things about working for the Watershed Council is to be able to see the effectiveness of our restoration projects firsthand. To go out to a stretch of creek that beforehand didn't have very diverse habitat, maybe had only shallow 1-foot pools, and then to come back later after we've created one of these log structures and see a 5-foot deep pool and see fish using that habitat that wasn't there before.
We as a council are starting to see results. And a lot of this is due to the collaboration throughout the watershed.
Our relationship with the Watershed Council has been, I think, good for the watershed and good for Gualala Redwoods.
We are seeing increases in pools. We're seeing the temperature starting to lower. We're seeing shelter ratings going up within the watershed. The anthropogenic sediment sources are starting to be controlled on a planning watershed basis. And we're starting to see metrics that are showing that the watershed is actually in recovery.